So, tonight, Avery and I are going to talk about his life. I've been, what?
Is it too dark? Or do you guys know?
I'm okay.
You guys good?
Yep, I can see.
Just make sure.
Okay. Anyways, I've been hanging with Avery and Lori, I think 3 times, to try to get his story because, he's very well known in our community because of all the pictures, and I'm going to talk about that at some point. And we just thought his story needs to be recorded. So I've written up something, and we're going to just sort of loosely follow that with some pictures that Lori gave me.
You go through it, and I'll tell you if you're wrong.
Yeah, you're going to correct me, I know. Okay, so we're going to start with your name.
My correct name?
Yeah.
John Avery College.
Right, which was news to me. So,
John was my grandfather's middle name.
Right.
Avery was my dad's brother's name, first name.
Okay, and you didn't grow up in Strathroy?
No, I grew up in St. Thomas.
Right, okay. Okay, so I have a little bit of information about your dad, so maybe you might want to talk about that a bit, because I sort of feel like Avery has done an awful lot of community work and volunteer work, and his dad was very much like that, so I just kind of think it's nice to bring that up, because he's obviously emulating his dad. So, do you remember everything your dad did?
Pardon?
Do you remember everything your dad did?
Not everything. What's his name again?
Dad.
I know that. My father's name was George, and he worked for the St. Thomas Fire Department. As a matter of fact, he ended up becoming a chief fire department for 30 years. And we have quite a few differences. We got along, but we didn't get along because when I was 15 years old, I had a chauffeur's license. The people next door to us owned Wishing Well soft drinks, and they had a pickup truck, and I drove their pickup truck to, my road was Aylmer, Tilsonburg, Port Burwell, and Port Bruce, and then back home, fill the truck up for the next week or whatever. But
Yeah, you dropped out of school in grade 11.
Yeah.
And I think you told me that your dad said, okay, but you got to go out and get a job.
I said, I'll get a job.
So you got, and I did ask him if he ever snuck a bottle of the Wishing Well pop while he was driving.
No, I never did that. I had to sell it.
Okay.
But my dad was kind of strict. I'll just tell you one little story. We were sitting at a table, and my brother didn't like peas, and he wouldn't eat them. My dad says, "You're going to sit there till you eat them." I said, "I got to see this." So I sat there across the table, and finally my brother, he stuck a spoon in the peas, he put them in his mouth, and went, bleh. I says, "He told me he didn't like peas."
Okay, the other things I have down here about your dad, he was active on school boards for 14 years.
School board.
Yeah, he was a trustee, filling a vacancy, and he was a longtime member of the St. Thomas Kiwanis Club, being president in '73, and he was also a board member at the YMCA.
Yeah.
So he did an awful lot of work, and apparently he was very well known, which, again, I see it following through on this generation. Okay, so your first job, other than Wishing Well Pop, you got a job working for Ontario Hydro in St. Thomas.
Yes.
And what did you do?
I was a tree trimmer.
Tree trimmer.
Because I like climbing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matter of fact, my foreman said to somebody, "Look at a monkey up there."
Well, it's true. I don't see you being, sitting there not doing anything. Like, you really strike me as somebody who likes to
Oh yeah,
get going.
yeah.
Okay. So I included this just because I thought this was really cool. While he was working at Ontario Hydro, the company gave all the employees seat belts, which I thought was really cool. So, Okay, so you came to Strathroy in 57, I have down here. Is that right?
I think it was 1960
Okay, I'll fix that.
with Ontario Hydro.
Yeah, you got transferred here with Ontario Hydro. So you and your first wife Shirley came to Strathroy, and you, excuse me, you bought a home at the corner of High and McKellar Street,
Yep.
and you paid how much for it?
Yeah.
$3,500. Wait, I'm gonna tell you how much his pay was. His pay in 1960, anybody wanna guess? You're pretty close, $2.28 an hour. Yeah. Okay, so after a while working at Ontario Hydro, then you started working for the PUC in Strathroy, and your boss was Al Lawson, right? So what kind of stuff did you do there?
Well, my first job was to go to every household in Strathroy and check their service logs and make sure everything was hooked up right and they weren't getting free hydro.
And did anybody have an issue with you coming in their home to look at the boxes?
Well, they let me in.
Okay. And did you find anything interesting?
Pardon?
Did you find anything interesting? Like, was there somebody?
Everybody was pretty square.
Oh, that's Strathroy, right? Okay. So you always had an interest in photography, and after you moved to Strathroy, you were doing freelance work for the Age-Dispatch.
Yep.
And then you were developing your own negatives in the basement. And I don't know how many people here have been in the basement.
Your
of that
dad let
building.
me use his darkroom.
Yes. Yeah, he worked for my dad. And Chick, was Chick still there when you were working there? Chick Spence, was he still?
No, Chick wasn't there, but
He was
wife
gone?
there.
Oh, yeah, okay. Did she boss you around?
No, I took a big picture of her and I gave it to her.
Oh, okay, all right.
She left shortly after that.
Just one frame.
I got a picture of me as a baby. Do you want to see it? Yeah, that's about right, 14. I had hair.
Okay, I need help.
Trying to plug it in.
No, I can see it's there. What's wrong?
What do you want in the next picture? That's my grandfather and I.
Yeah, how do you know that?
So I'm on the horse.
Yeah, you are. Okay, well, we'll keep talking for a bit. Okay, so you started doing freelance pictures, and another thing you told me that you did was that you went to Foodland at Christmas time, and Lou McGuire had arranged for Avery to come in and take pictures for the customers.
Their babies or whatever.
For what?
With their children.
Oh, okay. So like posed pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just gave, like, well, I'm assuming the store paid for that, and then they just gave the.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So by the mid 1960s, you left the PUC and you started your own company, College Western.
College Western Company.
Okay. So
I started with a job in number 7 highway down near north of Toronto, and they were widening it and extending it, and it needed a lot of trees cut down. So I took a crew of, I don't know whether anybody remembers Ken Cuxey. Anybody remember that name from Strathroy? Well, anyway, he was one of the guys that took with me, and then hired 2 more down there. And we had a pretty good crew, but one night we had a place we boarded. I goes in and they're all in bed sleeping with their boots on. So, but anyway, that's the way they were. And I a chainsaw, I remember when a chainsaw broke down and it needed a new, it was smoking a lot, so I thought that needs a new valve or ring. Yeah. So anyway, I sat on a stump outside the other guys were working. I tore that saw all apart and put the ring back on, when it went.
Very handy.
It worked.
Okay, so you did that for a few years, and then you returned to Ontario Hydro,
Yeah.
and you were a linesman. That's not the same as trimming trees, right?
No.
So what did you do as a linesman?
I was a linesman, not with Ontario Hydro, with them, with the PUC in Strathroy, I was a lineman.
Okay, so you were not a lineman with Hydro in Exeter?
Oh, yes, I went to Exeter and Melbourne, not Melbourne.
I got Sarnia and Exeter,
Sarnia.
yeah. Okay, so
And then I wanted to go on my own in the school picture business.
Yes.
Because
yes, well, that's what you're about to do next. Okay, so you left Hydro, and that's when you started taking school photography, right? You were working with John Wright School Photography in the late
Wright,
1960s, yeah, mostly in the Windsor area.
John Wright, I worked with him for quite a few years, calling on schools, and at that time I had a little Gremlin car. And I think it's got in there.
Yeah,
I'll wait then.
No, it's with this part, so you
A
can
Gremlin
tell.
car, and I had it all flocked. You know what flocking is? It's just like you put glue all over the car, and then you throw these little short pieces, and then you energize the car with electricity, and the pieces stick out, and then they dry. So that's what I had, and I used to drive into schools, and the kids would come home and they'd rub it and feel it.
Yeah, and I think you said too that people, like you'd be driving and you'd be at a red light or something, and people would come running up and be doing this sort of thing. So. Yeah, that's when you started working with Adnac Images,
Adnac
Morris
Images,
Oliver. But you were still, you're still in Windsor with Morris and Ed Gregory.
John Wright.
I'm just gonna get caught up here on the pictures. Okay, so what's this picture?
That's my grandfather, and
What was the horse's
the horse's
name?
name was Doc,
Dog.
and the dog's name, that was my aunt's. No, I forget the dog's name. My grandfather was quite a horseman, and if it was a nice day, he'd take me horseback riding. My grandmother would be upset. She had to go to church by herself on Sundays.
She wasn't worried about
So
you.
that was a Sunday.
Okay. So you did a lot of horseback riding then with
Yeah,
your
and I still have that riding crop.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we talked about that. Okay. So when you were done with the purple fuzz gremlin, you removed it, which I don't know how you do that, but.
Well, it was a lot of work.
And then you painted the car different colors.
All different colors.
Yeah.
In stripes.
Yes. So this was a marketing gimmick for Adnac Images. I gotta.
And that car is still running.
Is it? Do you know where it is?
Oh yeah, it's out west.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what year of Gremlin was it? Do you remember?
70, I think it was.
Wow.
That
It's
was
still running.
Barb and Smale. Barb Smale.
Gord.
No, not Gord.
No?
Barb's
Oh, her
son.
their daughter, yeah.
Yeah, and her husband is
Yeah.
Brown.
They have
his
it,
name
okay.
was.
All right.
It's still on.
Now, this,
Oh, there's my green.
can anybody pick Avery out?
That was the time of square-toed shoes.
Square toe shoe. Oh, yeah.
See my square shoes?
Yeah. So this is obviously a class photo. Okay. Wait, how do I do the pointer thing again?
When I was in school, I joined the Elgin Regiment
There he is,
trumpet band, yeah.
right there.
And this point to this guy in the end, Dick Agar, he's a friend of mine,
Yeah,
and he joined with me. We joined the band, and he told his dad he was going to join the Elgin Regiment trumpet band. He says, "You fool! You just joined the army."
that's my favorite story. We're gonna get to that.
But we got paid for it.
Okay. So the other thing with the photography is that you told me you always like to treat your customers really well.
Yeah.
And so you would, at Christmas time, you would give the school's custodians a small gift.
I would give the secretaries a Shriner's cake
And you would
because I
give
was
the
a Shriner.
secretaries a Shriner's cake.
And yeah, the custodians I gave a calendar book to, and I know the first one I gave a calendar book for me. I said, yeah. She said, no one's given me anything before.
Yeah, I don't think they probably get a lot of presents. Okay. So this is the ground.
There's Gremlin.
It's unfortunately we can't really see, but you can see the people who are just amazed and want to touch it.
That's the kids at one of the high schools.
Yeah.
They're all feeling
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Okay. So in the 1970s, you opened College Studios.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what year this ad is, but it's a Christmas ad that would have been in the Age Dispatch. So it's got both the College Studios and the store, College Cameras, the staff in there. So when you started doing school photos, I have to read this because I can't remember all the numbers and everything, but you were doing all the public schools in St. Thomas, the public and Catholic schools in Strathroy, and all the Catholic schools in London.
In Middlesex,
Yeah, because he told me he knows a lot of people, he knows principals, so.
I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, and at the same time, you, obviously with the studios, you were doing weddings, baby photos, and along with the school photography. So in 1985, you hired Louis, and you just thought he would be a really good guy to work with the camera, correct? And you offered
At
to
the
train
time,
him.
Louis' wife worked in the office for us, and so I knew him, and I knew his personalities and everything. So I went down to where he was stirring fiberglass. I said, "Can I?" To the boss, his foreman boss, "Can I go back and talk to Louis?" He says, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." So I went back there, and here Louis was standing in fiberglass about that deep, switching around. I said, "How'd you like to come work with me?" He says, "Me?" I said, "Yeah." "Get over there, come on, let's go." We went and he walked out the door right there. And he was been with me, until just recently, and we,
Yeah, that worked out fine.
Yeah.
Okay, and you apparently had a few other part-time photographers around that time.
Yeah.
You told me Pete DeGroot,
Yeah.
Dominic Hassan, and Pete Gertz.
Yeah.
And so in 1980, that's when you opened College Cameras,
Yeah.
which was down on Front Street. And eventually you sold it to your daughters, Julie and Dawn. And Julie is... Okay.
We're gonna be here all night.
It's okay, we're not gonna be here all night. Okay, so you seem to always, like you talk about the kids that you work with, and you can tell when you chat with you that you really enjoyed doing pictures with the kids.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah, so what kinds of things did you do to get them to behave so you could take a picture?
Well, I could tell you a few examples. I used to do magic tricks. And what I would do is I'd rub a dime on my hand, I'd drop it on the floor, I'd pick it up, I had another one in this hand, I'd rub it, then I go, and then I say to the kid, this one kid, I said, "Right in your pocket." He says, "No, it didn't." I says, "Yes, it did." "No, it didn't." You know what the teacher said? "Rambo, look in your pocket." So Rambo looked in his pocket. He says, holy shit. That's a kindergarten kid.
Okay. The other thing that we talked about was that you get kids coming up to you now saying, you took my picture.
Oh, I get that.
So today, I noticed like on our Facebook page, we had a post announcing that you were gonna be here tonight. And we had over 100 people like that post, which is really a high number for a post about an upcoming meeting. So, but there were some
You want me to
comments.
come every meeting?
Sure.
For you?
Yeah. So I just wanted to read you some of the things that people said about you because there were some comments. I'm not going to name the names. If you're on Facebook, you can find it. Okay, so wow, I remember him taking photos when I was very young at Valley View Public School in Coldstream, and I'm 56 now.
Who's that? What's that?
I'll tell you later. He would always try to get you to say whiskey or stinky feet to get you to laugh or smile. Great memories. Another person said, I wonder how many times this man has taken my picture.
You know what was a good one was later on, and when Wayne Gretzky got
Yeah.
famous, they'd say Gretzky. And
Yeah,
I got a natural smile right
Yeah.
there.
Okay, I'm sure Avery has some awesome stories and memories about all the people of Strathroy. He certainly is an icon. You're an icon. I'd love to hear his fireside chat. Unfortunately, I'm unable to make it. Wishing him and Lori the best always. Another one. Yay, Avery. Terrific man in this community. Our wedding photographer. Yes, and he did my wedding too. And for our children's first photo pics. Love you, Avery and Lori. Sorry that I can't make it on Monday, but I know you will be amazing. Another person said, there's two people I haven't seen in years, because I had a picture of you two. So. Another person said, hi, Avery and Lori.
Who was that?
I'll give you this later. Another person, Avery is a great person. I remember him from class pictures and Legion hockey. I would love to attend this. Is Chuck Mover Man Weatherby here? Yay!
Oh, how you doing?
Okay, and the last one, they said, sweet man.
Which?
Sweet man. You're a sweet man. That's what the last person said on the post. A sweet man.
Okay.
That's you.
Oh.
You. Okay. And two people tagged Julie just to make sure that she knew.
No, you show the shirt yet?
No. No. We're still working through, the way I set this up, like when you're starting to write about somebody's life, it's really kind of hard to put it together in a way that makes sense. You know, you almost end up bouncing around. So what I did was I started out with his work history, and then I talked about all the things he did outside of work. So we're still working on the on the work history. Okay, anybody know where this totem pole is? I should have had you guys with me a while ago, because we had somebody who messaged our page and they said that her daughter was sure she'd seen a totem pole down by the town hall. And I had this nagging feeling, but I couldn't come up with it. And I contacted Crystal and I said, do you remember a totem pole down by the town hall? And she said, no. And about a week later, I got a text from Crystal. She was out for a walk at lunchtime and she found it. So, yeah,
That's in two pieces.
is it?
Yeah.
It's starting to look a little.
A friend of mine in St. Thomas,
Yes.
some may know him, but he's passed now.
Yeah,
But
Cliff Maxwell.
Cliff Maxwell. He gave me that. It was in two pieces. I brought it home in my van, and I lived across the street. And I put it up there. And then when I moved over, I put it there.
Yeah.
And it's still there now. Louis wants it. And I said, well, you can have it if you can get it out of there. So I don't know if he's just coming back from Florida now. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, so yeah, so as you mentioned, you guys lived, I don't know which way.
Opposite.
Yeah, you lived across the street.
We lived across the street from
Right.
that house.
And then you used this house as a studio.
a studio, and then I bought the house beside me,
Oh,
and I bought the other little house beside me.
Smart.
That belonged to an older lady, and my daughter, Dawn, she lived in there for quite a while.
Okay. So you've taken many photos over the years, but you've told me about your favorite picture, which I'm trying to find for you. Boots.
Not the one on my wall.
No. Excuse me. You told me you call it boots.
Pardon?
You told me you call this picture boots. You remember the picture? You told me that
Oh,
you were up on the second line
Yeah.
at Walter Scott's place.
Yeah.
Because planes could
And
land there.
they had a fly-in,
Yeah.
and the parachutes were coming down, and I ran out I saw the one, and I kind of guessed about where he'd come down, and I laid on the ground with my camera. I says, so I took a picture just as his boots went by me, but I got a picture of his boots. And I donated that picture and one of Hammock Harbor, or Hammock Lake, that I had taken to Culbertson School. And when John Mackey left there, he left it at school. When, what's his name was there after him? No, Colbert. No,
Weren't you you were telling me earlier Ed Campbell?
Ed
But
Campbell.
he was at Southdale.
Ed Campbell's got it, I think.
Yeah.
I was trying to get, I was gonna phone her and see if she could find it,
Well,
but I didn't.
yeah, we're trying to find it. Crystal was on holidays this week, so she couldn't help me. But Avery says it was in the paper, so we should be able to find it. It's just we don't know when this picture was taken. That's the thing. So
I can't tell you.
okay, well it'll be longer than before we find it. Okay. So in 1993, you sold College Studios to Lisa and John Dessa. And Lisa had worked there for many years, so that was the connection.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, your wife Lori got transferred to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you stayed in Strathroy for a bit because you were training John, and Lori went ahead and went to Oakville, and then in the fall you were able to join her. So there you are now living in the big city of Oakville.
Well, we moved to Caledonia, which is a smaller community.
Yeah.
But I owned a diner there.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh,
I try to keep this in chronological order. Okay, so tell me about your first job in Toronto when you were selling cars.
Oh.
You think you'd be a good salesperson, wouldn't you?
I went into a car dealership and I saw a guy in a suit standing, so I was dressed reasonably. So I stood beside him and he says, what can I do for you? I said, no, it's what I can do for you. I started the next morning. And what ended my car sales was, I had an older couple in a car dealership, and I sat with them quite a while, and they decided to buy this car. I said, good, but I have to take this deal to the manager. So I go to the manager and says, here's the deal right here. And he read it over. Yeah, that's pretty good. But he leaned over and he says, you know what? I said, what? He says, you can get another $200 out of them. I says, no, I can't. I get up and walk.
Good for you.
I wouldn't do it.
Okay, so after that, you went back to doing school photography.
Right?
After you quit your job selling cars, you went back to taking school pictures.
Yes.
Yes, and the new company was College Photo Inc., and that was in Oakville, Burlington, and Caledonia.
Yeah.
And you had 36 schools that you were doing there.
Yeah.
And then that was the time that you decided you hated living in the city and you guys moved to Caledonia.
Caledonia,
And then you decided to open a restaurant.
yeah. Avery's Diner, where's that?
There.
There, yeah.
Okay, so you had this restaurant for 5 years, and
Yeah.
this was made by Jake Hamstra. I don't know how he did it.
He does, he's pretty good at that
Yeah,
stuff.
apparently. Okay, so you had 15 staff at your diner, and apparently you told me this was sort of always a dream for you, that you wanted to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, we still, the lady, look, we have 14 staff. And what's her name?
Carol.
Carol Matthews, she looked after the staff, but
Yeah.
she still keeps in touch with us.
Yeah, that's nice. So you mostly serve breakfast and lunch, and you opened early in the morning and you closed at 2.
Yeah.
There is a picture coming up here. You had the kitchen open
Yeah.
to the restaurant.
I was
'Cause-
right there, I could see everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure you were entertaining everybody in the restaurant.
And then I had a bag full of green eggs, like little wooden eggs, about that size, and 3 golden ones in there. And if you come up, I say, when you pay, before you pay a bill, reach in, if you bring out a golden egg, you get a free breakfast or lunch, whatever.
Yeah, no, that's a
That worked out
good,
pretty good.
that's a good thing. Okay, so this is your restaurant. Who's this guy here? I had his name.
Darby.
Darby?
He lives in Strathroy. He worked for Ontario Hydro when I did.
Okay, so he came to visit you at the restaurant then.
Well, they were just visiting.
And why
He
do you
and
have,
his wife.
why do you have a big stick in your hand?
That's a cleaver, meat cleaver.
What?
Like to see it?
No. Here, wait. Where?
There's the blade right there. There's a hole where you hang it up. There's the handle.
A little bit of an angle.
Okay.
I should have turned it a little better, but and Darby lived in Strathroy.
Okay. So he was visiting.
He came down and visited.
So did you actually do any cooking? Or did you just sort of hold court? I said, did you do any cooking? Or did you just hang out there? And
No, I cooked.
You did?
Yeah.
do you still cook?
I was a good cook.
Is he a good cook? Yeah? Okay.
And I'd buy from Wingham, or not Wingham, down in Windsor, I'd buy bass fillets.
Oh,
Bass
okay,
fillet.
fish. Yeah.
And we have that, so that people just love that.
Yeah.
And I hated restaurants with big cubes of potatoes. So what I did was took potatoes and I sliced them all about that thick and about that big around. So that I laid them flat until they got brown and turned them over. People loved them.
Yeah. I wish I had known about your restaurant. Okay, so we talked about the golden egg. I think that was a great one. Okay, so I like this story too. Lori made the chili that was served at the restaurant, and tell me about the day that you were driving back to the restaurant with the chili in the van. Do you
Okay,
remember
I was going to the van and I wanted to stop in at the ATM, get some cash because I had the cash drawer. But the cash drawer was under my coat, it was over top of it. And while I was in there was 2 guys and they took off, they went out. Next thing I know, I saw my car going by. They stole my van. But they didn't dump the chili. It would stay there. And the police, They didn't take the cash. But the police came in and said, "Are these yours?" It's a bag full of bullet shells. They're not mine.
Yeah. So
But
basically,
they found the van with the front crushed in them.
yeah. So basically, the cops chased the van, and the van crashed, and there was
Yeah.
chili everywhere and bullets. Okay, so after this, that's when you guys decided maybe it was time to sell the restaurant and move back to Strathroy. So you did that for 5 years, so that's good. Okay, so you came back. I forgot to mention when you left. I think it was '95 when you left Strathroy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you came back about 2017, and you wanted to be near family, and you liked the small town atmosphere. Yeah. And I found out that you were coming back to Strathroy a lot, anyways.
Yeah.
Through that time, so you were still coming to buy your flowers at Zimmerman's, and you still had all your drapery done by Hamsters, and you even came and had your vehicle serviced by Brad Bestward at the Chorus Motors. So you were still kind of hanging around. So what I have is like you just sort of slipped back in, and Lori told me that everybody remembers you, which I'm not surprised. And she told me that you guys attended a church service when you came back. Yeah. And Marinus Canthers walked up to you, and he told you that you were sitting in his seat.
So?
Yeah. And then he welcomed you back.
You're not sitting in
it. Okay, so now we're moving into your outside work stuff. Okay, so when you came to Strathroy, you were a cub leader for a while.
Which?
A cub leader, like Boy Scouts cub? Cubs? What do you call cubs? Cubs.
Oh, Cubs. Oh, yeah. Cub Scouts.
Yeah, and you still have your shirt. You told me that. And you named Jim and Jeff Pogue. They were in your pack.
They were a cub pack.
Yeah.
I was a Kayla, they called them.
What did they call you?
They called them a Kaylas. I was a Kayla. They used to go Kayla. Then they go dip, 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 dot, dot, dot. And that's dom, dom, dom is do our best. Do our best.
I'm not a guy, so I...
Any scouters here? They would know that. Yeah, there, they know that. He knows what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. So you've been, oh yeah, I was going to mention too that your grandfather, you told me he was a scout master.
Yes.
So that was another reason you had interest in scouts. So you've also been a member of quite a few organizations.
Yeah.
You've been a Mason with the Beaver Lodge, number 83,
Lodge, yeah.
for over 50 years. And you've been a Shriner for pretty much the same amount of time.
Yeah. Shrine Help Capital.
Right there. That's Noble
Bastard
Avery
Murder.
College. So this is the newsletter for the Oakville Shrine Club.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought, okay, he was Noble of the Month. And of course, I think he took all their pictures and that sort of thing. So I think you told me when we were talking too that the Shrine Club saved you.
Saved me?
Saved you. I think I took it as, you were unhappy in the city, that these guys, you were able to connect with them.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I joined the drum corps, drum
Yes, yes.
corps.
And this newsletter was May 2008, so that's going back to that. So while you were near Toronto, you were in the Rotary Club and the Shrine Club.
Yeah.
Okay. The Rotary Club, you were honored with the Paul Harris Fellow Award, which was given in appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations among peoples of the world.
Right.
So that's pretty good honor to have. So the Shrine, as you mentioned, had a drum corps, and you were a tenor drummer. I had to look that up.
Tenor drum.
Yeah.
There's a snare drum. That's the one. And there's the tenor. And there's a bass drum. Boom, boom.
Yeah. So basically, you've got this bunch of drums strapped on you, right?
No. I just played the one, the tenor.
Oh.
And then there was a row of snare drums.
Okay.
And one bass drum.
Okay.
And there were 4 tenor drums.
So is this when you're doing parades that you would
Yeah.
do this? Okay. All right. And that's what kills me too. In 2008, the Shrine Club honored you by an appointment as ambassador at large.
Yes.
I love Mason's words. Ambassador at large by illustrious Sir Brian Davenport, potentate of, I don't know how to say this, Remises Shriners.
They're over Toronto.
Okay.
Oh, there's my buddy.
This is the Paul Harris Fellow Award.
A lot of school teachers, wait, that's, Fred Sweeney. He was he was a school principal, and he moved down that way, so he and I connected together. He was in Rotary. He's had trouble with his feet, but I still keep in touch with him.
Okay. And the medal that you're wearing, is that the actual Paul Harris Fellow Award that you get, or why are you wearing what looks like a medal?
Yeah.
That was for that?
Yeah.
All right.
You notice I haven't got any more hair there either.
No. No, I was shocked to discover you had hair when you were young. Okay, so the Turkey Festival. Okay, so you were a member of the Lions Club in Strathroy.
Yeah.
And in 1978, you were second vice president, and you helped to create the Turkey Festival,
Yeah.
right?
I would want to talk to Matt Cuddy.
Yeah, you went and talked to Mac. And did it take some arm twisting, or was he totally on board?
He was on board.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
You also convinced Wayne Gretzky and Eddie Shack to come the next year to the Turkey Festival for the parade.
Yeah, but I didn't get Wayne Gretzky. There was a girl on our committee who was not a relative of his, but knew him.
Okay,
So I said, yeah, but I got Eddie Shack.
yes.
And
He was quite a character.
he was turkey number 15.
Yes, and yeah, you can't really see it this picture, but yeah, this is like a thing that's been put together for Avery, and his card is number 1. He's the number 1 turkey.
And then you know what the password was?
No.
Gobble gobbler gobble.
Oh, you know what? I do remember that. Yeah, so he's known as Chief Tom Turkey because of all his work with the Turkey Fest. So yeah, so you and Matt Cuddy remain good friends, right?
Yes, in fact, we went in before the Turkey Festival. He and one of his workers went with us. We took a barbecue in there, and turkey breasts, and they cooked them up and gave them to people.
Yeah, you went to London or something, didn't you? And just sort of set up and
We set up outside
Set up
of a mall or
barbecue.
something like that.
Yeah.
It was, you know.
trying to encourage people to eat turkey,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So we're going to talk about music.
What
Music
about
has
that?
been a very important part of Avery's life. You played trumpet and
Yeah.
drums,
Yeah.
and you played
Not
with
at the same time.
No. You played with the Elgin Regiment Trumpet
Trumpet
Band.
yeah.
And I'm going to tell a story about that in a few pictures here. Okay, so, no, I guess I'm going to do it now.
Yes. Oh,
I just liked this picture. Plus, you know, you've got the plaid on your hat. Did you wear kilts?
pardon?
Did you wear kilts?
No.
Okay.
We had trousers,
Okay.
but they were plaid.
Oh, yeah, like your hat, right?
Yeah. And we played in Winchester, Virginia for,
Yeah.
have you got that down?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that too. Yeah, and so that's your son Herb, and he's
He's got hair.
no, he doesn't.
Oh, no, he hasn't got that much.
Okay. Now this is my favorite thing of all. You gotta tell. You sort of told that story earlier, but how did you get to be able to play with the band?
Well, first of all, you had to either play a drum or a trumpet.
Right.
I played the trumpet, and I played the drum too.
Yeah. And you
And you had to belong to the regiment.
You had to join the
Join
army.
the army, yeah.
Yeah. Did you realize that when you were signing up that you were joining the army?
I knew that. That didn't bother me, but my buddy, he joined Dick Agar, and his dad said, "You stupid fool, you just joined the army."
I know, that just kills me. Okay. So yeah, you did a lot of things with the band. I looked up this Shenandoah Apple Blossom Fest,
Yeah.
and this thing is incredible.
Oh, it is.
Like,
Winchester, Virginia.
yeah. Now, your band went down there in May of 1968,
Yeah,
and that was the 41st annual Shenandoah Apple Blossom Festival.
yeah.
It's a 2-week festival. I just couldn't believe it. So you guys actually did 3 performances while you were there, and you also got to witness the crowning of the festival queen,
Yeah,
Anne Eisenhower, who was President Dwight Eisenhower's granddaughter.
yeah.
So this is a quote from the local newspaper about you guys. These mature militiamen, marching smartly in bright tartans, set hundreds of feet tapping and hands clapping in rhythm along tight packed Braddock Street. So,
Our
yeah.
band sounded good. Like
Yeah, you
we've
must have.
been all over
Yeah.
Toronto.
Well, the other thing that you told me was you were able to play for President Lyndon Johnson
Yeah,
and his daughter Linda Bird for her 16th birthday.
yeah.
Yeah. And you also have, the band has taken part in the Santa Claus Parade here in Strathroy,
Yeah.
right? Okay. I should have got a picture of the program. The other thing that Avery did, in April of 1967, I remember my dad coming home and constantly talking about this show. It was the Mickey Finn and Variety Show. Does anybody remember that? In 67?
Mickey Finn,
Yeah. I mean, I thought Mickey Finn was a real person, like, and this famous person was coming to Strathroy.
yeah. Have you got that picture?
No, I have the program,
Oh,
which I
yeah.
gave you guys a copy. I tried to find a picture, but no, I couldn't find one.
Oh, you had a,
So what did you do? Like, you were Mickey Finn.
yeah.
So what did you do as a performance for that?
Well, I
Show.
had to put on a ladies' bathing suit, put stuffing in up here, of course. And I laid on the piano, Dalton Walpole was playing.
And do you remember what the song you sang? Bye Bye Blues?
I forget now what it was.
Anyways,
but-
I wished I would like to find a picture of that.
And then later on, I not met, this was in, he dressed up, did tiptoe through the tulips.
Oh, yeah, that's next.
Oh, that's next, oh.
Yes. Now, Lori told me that Avery is always the jokester at parties, and that he loves to do Tiny Tim. So that's what you're doing.
But, there was one I used to play a violin, I call it the one-armed fiddler. And I played a violin, and I had a stick in this hand, my other hand was down here. And I had my fly open. Yeah. And I'd be playing away, and then I'd take a hold of it, I'd put my finger out here, grab a hold of the stick, and hold it. They just went nuts.
Okay. Okay, the other thing you guys were part of.
And another one, I want to tell you another little joke I used to do. I'd pretend I was out duck hunting, and I'd be sitting on it, bang, missed him. And another one, bang, didn't get him. Then I had to go to the bathroom, so what I'd do is undo my pants, pull them down a little bit, and I just crouch down. And I get down up there, I just grabbed a piece of paper. And I had peanut butter on it.
Yeah, you are a jokester. Okay, and you had a group of friends that you called the Happy Gang.
Yeah.
And you guys would just get together and have fun. And some of those people were Annie and Art Fiddler, Archie and Dorothy Pedden, Mark Jowett, who was Mark Butler, and Walt Jowett, and Margaret Ray Patton.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so
Michael.
you like to golf.
Yeah.
That's you right there.
Yeah.
Were you a good golfer?
That's Fred Sweeney. He's diving.
Okay.
You go ahead.
I don't know.
Have you got them written down
No, I I never asked you. I just wondered, were you a good golfer?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I think so. I
Okay.
used to have more parties.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, and you also loved hockey?
Look at that, Fingal Flyers, yeah.
Yep. So that's you right there.
Yeah,
And I looked them up. The Fingal Flyers, you played in West Lorne,
yeah,
but most of you were from St. Thomas. You just played
Yeah.
that arena.
yeah.
And in Strathroy, you played with the
The
Legion.
Legion, yeah.
Legion League.
And I coached their team too.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so now we're going to talk about motorcycles. So do you want to show your shirt?
Pardon?
We're going to talk about motorcycles now, your motorcycle stuff. So do you want to
Okay.
show the shirt?
Well, we used to ride motorcycles at Giffens here. With Giffens,
Yes.
Bruce Bentley and Shirley Bentley, you know. You can see
No,
them.
I don't have them.
Don't you have that picture of them? With me sitting?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I'll just point her out to you. But anyway. Huh?
Oh, no, I didn't put that picture up because you're not in it.
Waldo's Wobblers. That's what we called it.
That's-
You still got your shirt, Gord? You still got your shirt?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so you all had a shirt?
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
had shirts.
And did you wore them when you went on your trips?
Yeah.
Okay.
Until it
Yeah.
got cold, then we got to put something
Yeah.
warmer on.
Okay. And I think your longest trip was Newfoundland that you went on, the
Yeah.
furthest away.
We toured Newfoundland.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, the other hobby that you guys had was boating.
Mm-hmm.
So you had 3 different boats, and you told me you gave it up because gas became far too expensive.
Well, it had 2 300-gallon tanks, one on one side, one on the other. Twin 427 engines. You guys know that suck the gas up, so that was a lot. But we had fun with that boat.
I'm sure. Yeah, you said, didn't you tell me you docked in Port Franks?
Port Huron.
Port Huron?
Yeah.
So here you are again.
Well, that's the guy and I, we were on a motorcycle
Yeah.
trip.
Do you know where this is? Okay.
We were on our way to the West Coast. We didn't get there. We got as far as Nebraska. And my motorcycle, I had 500 Norton and one of the valves burned out on it. And so we had to put it on a trailer, haul it back. His dad came out and picked us up.
Okay.
I got home at 8 in the morning. I had to go to work at 8:30.
I can't do that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about when you ran for council.
Yeah.
So this was 1994. It was your first time running, and you were one of 2 rookie councillors that was elected. And your daughter Julie was elected deputy reeve in the same
Yeah, I was
election.
pleased to have her on here. As a matter of fact, she's here tonight.
Yeah.
Julie, would you stand up? Come on.
Hey, And Julie had been elected councillor 3 years before in the previous election. So, so the Age Dispatch did a little story. Apparently, they were the first father-daughter or relatives serving on council together at the same time. So you guys are in the history books.
Yeah. Well, I was on council. I scouted that property where shoppers, not shoppers. Oh, the edge of town. The Zares, where Zares is.
Yes.
That was all vacant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I scouted that property for the town, for
Yeah.
to sell to them.
Yeah, so you were doing that, but then Lori got a job transfer, so you were only able to do a year in the term, and you had to resign. So that's too bad, but we got a year. Okay, and when I was with you, I asked you who was the most influential person in your life, and you named Gord Spale. Yeah, and I think Gord's wife is here somewhere. She is.
Yeah, Gordon and I got along well together.
Yeah.
I remember one time, Francis will remember this. They had a little black and white dog, and the dog was in the car. Gordon wanted him out, and he barked, and the dog bit him, and he says, "He bit me." I said, "You never put your hand in at a barking dog." Remember that, friend?
Yeah, so he was a fellow photographer, right? But he did high school
Yeah.
photos,
Yeah.
and he had a photo finishing. Is that correct?
Yes, in their
photo
basement.
finishing in his basement.
Francis did a lot of work there.
Yeah.
I know.
And he also was one of the people that you worked with to do steak barbecues,
Yeah.
school principals. Why is there a snicker? Were you at one of these? Okay.
I had one guy, principal, I shouldn't talk about principals, but I wouldn't mention the name, no, but because I can't come, but can I have my steak? You know, I gave him a steak. I gave him the steak anyway.
Okay. I asked you how you would like to be remembered, and you said as a good man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're proud of your community service. And Lori was talking about this. She said that you always, like you really enjoy working in a group with people towards a goal.
Yeah.
You don't like being in charge or being bossy. You really
I
enjoy
don't like being the boss.
working with people to get towards a goal. So, yeah, and Lori also told me that people remember you for your personality, which I think is very true, and you're a very kind and happy person, which I would agree
I think
with.
I am,
Yeah. Yeah. So, you have 3 kids with your first wife.
Yeah, Julie's here
Yeah.
tonight.
Julie's
Julie
the oldest.
and
Herb is
here.
next.
He's got a haircut like mine.
Yeah.
And Gerda, Julie's neighbor. Hi, Gerda.
And Dawn was not able to come, right? Yeah, because she lives a bit of a distance away. Okay, and you have 2 stepkids, Matt and Ben.
Yeah.
And you have 6 grandkids, Emily and David, Hayden and Ashlyn, Liam and Finn, and 3 great-grandchildren, and I love these names, Silas, Fox, and Killian. Okay, so you married Lori in 1982, so you've been married for quite a while, and you live on Metcalf Street in Strathroy. And my final thought is that you've done a lot of things, and I said more importantly, is you seem to have had a lot of fun in your life.
Yes.
Yes, which is great. So I want to thank you and Lori for putting up with me for a few days.
It's
Lucky you.
enjoyable. I like it.
Yeah, well, it was good. And thank you, Julie, because I was able to ask a few questions of Julie as well. So, and Chad, wherever Chad is, he put this together for me. So now I'm going to come out into the audience, and if anybody has a comment or a question for Avery, we can do that.
Okay.
Anybody have a question? You do?
Back in 1979, my aunt asked me to take pictures of her daughter's wedding. At the time, I just had a little rangefinder camera. I didn't have anything that was close to, a single lens reflex camera. And so now, I beg to differ about a college camera opening in 1980. You said I think it was 19. Yeah, at least it was open in 1979. I went to see Howie. I didn't know his last name, but I saw in the picture it was Howie Thomas.
Howie Thomas?
Yeah, and I told him, I have to take his wedding picture, so he let me borrow it was a Ricoh, a single lens reflex camera from the store. And I had a friend whose father had a flash unit in the flash bracket. And yeah, and with those 2, I did my first wedding years ago. And this was in 1979,
Oh.
And shortly after that, after I saw the results of, it was, oh, these are great pictures, you know, and then like that's when I bought a single lens reflex camera. And when it started me on a whole career of taking pictures around Strathroy, you know.
That's
You know,
good.
and I have to thank, you know, actually Howie Thomas and College Camera for letting me borrow that camera back in, I think it was August
You
1979.
know, that's, eventually Don and Julie bought the store. They were like.
Yeah. So now, I didn't buy a Ricoh camera from the store. It was a Minolta it was a black camera. That's what I actually purchased, and I had to, you know. But anyway, it was still a good camera and made some great pictures. Anyways, yeah. So so thank you for college cameras. I developed a lot of film at the store. So, you know.
And we thank you, Bill.
But,
Thanks for the business.
Oh.
This will be just fine, Avery. Just to include a more anecdotal story, I was principal in a Christian school for quite a number of years, and so Avery, of course, took pictures there, and that's when I got to know him. And so he said to me, this is in connection with the steak fry, because he always got the principals together every year, and you had to golf first. I didn't golf. I told Avery, I says, I don't golf, I don't have any golf clubs, but Mr. Kindness, he says, no problem. Next day, he's at the school, he's got a set of clubs for me. They were his old ones, because he wanted new ones. Anyway, and Avery gave me the clubs and golfed, and I've golfed ever since, and loved it. So thank you, Avery. He's got quite an influence on me.
Henry and I were coming back, I forget where we were in buying golf clubs in London. And we were coming down, there's at the north end of Highway 22 on the curve, and there was a truck, was it a bus? There was a bus, and I went to go beside him, and we just about went in the ditch, didn't we?
Together and get us back out. I told him I got home with the Gale, I says, boy, I'm thankful I'm here. Anyway, there's a lot of those stories.
Yeah, I know. Okay, does anybody else have a comment or have a question? Gord Giffen, do you have any stories about motorcycle trips?
Well, I'm just gonna show this, Gord will remember this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the problems. You shouldn't tell the story why.
Huh?
You shouldn't tell the story beside that.
What, you walking around with just your underwear on?
Okay, why don't you tell the story, Gord?
Waldo's wobblers. Excuse me, I had some radiation. My lip doesn't work too good, but my mouth does. Anyway, Waldo was one of our bikers, and we wished to alternate who was gonna, like every day, somebody else would be the leader. But Waldo, he couldn't stand the pressure, and he was just terrible. So anyway, we got those to tease him a little bit.
Yeah, I got my name on the vaccine.
So we four of us, and we were a lot of places. As you say, Newfoundland. And
We had a lot of good road trips, didn't we?
oh yes. A few of them.
Pardon? Oh, surely Bruce was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were ready to go. And,
He only saw one direction.
yeah, usually she'd pat him on the back, but she didn't. She went to get on and he took off. And she's sitting there, you son of a.
I'm waiting for you.
We had a lot of fun.
We had to chase him and catch him.
Yeah, we did trips to Newfoundland.
No.
Pardon? Newfoundland,
Newfoundland was 1986, okay.
yeah. We toured all Newfoundland and East Coast, didn't we? On motorcycles.
Okay, anybody else have a comment or a question?
I remember that guy in school.
Avery, I forgot about the dime trick until you mentioned it, and once you mentioned it, I clearly remember it, probably from about kindergarten all the way through grade 8, maybe not grade 8 because we were getting a little smarter by then, but I definitely remember after you mentioned it, it came back. But anyways, you've had your picture taken a few times tonight, whether you knew it or not, and we haven't heard one Stinky Feet, one whiskey, one Gretzky, nothing. What have you got for us?
What's the trick?
We said, so you have your picture taken a number of times tonight, and you said you used whiskey, Gretzky.
Oh, Gretzky was the last one.
That's the one?
Gretzky. He was pretty good.
Thank you.
And Gretzky at the Turkey Festival, Gretzky was one of the girls on the committee was related to him, so she got him to come down, and he was the lead car in the Turkey Festival. Then
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the story. That was the summer he had signed with who did he sign with? Okay, he signed with them, and he had the summer to hang out, and so that was why he was able to come to Strathroy, and then he was headed to camp or whatever after that. So.
we had Turkey member cards, so you could become a member of Turkey Club. And I was Chief Tom Turkey, and we had a password, was Gobble Gobbler Gobble. And Eddie Shack is number 15, I think.
Yeah.
And I remember I says, he was going somewhere in his car. I said, I'll go with you. And he went down behind the Catholic church. I said, you can't drive down through there. He was going down the back, people's backyards. I said, you can't go. He said, hell, I can't. He drove right down.
Okay, anybody else? Oh,
Wayne Gretzky, when he was on the parade, we featured his picture on our Facebook page. And for the first time, we went up to about 7,000 or 8,000, 11,000 people, where at the time we were only getting as high as, 1,500 or so, so that was a big hit.
That was our first big post.
Our first big post, yeah, that's right.
Hi, Avery.
Hi.
I got a question for you. Because I was looking at all the old pictures when you guys played on the Legionnaires.
Yeah.
And when you posed in the pictures, were you taking the pictures then? Or was somebody else doing it?
Excuse me, I didn't hear the first part.
So you remember when you played on the Legionnaires?
Yeah.
I seen the pictures where you were in them. Were you taking pictures then? Or was somebody else doing them?
No, I used to do pictures, but my daughter Dawn did that one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because that's the only way I could. I gave her the camera, set it up, hopped in there, and she took the picture.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, I was just wondering, because I seen all these pictures with you in them, but I just wondered who was taking them or if you were even doing the pictures then.
Did you ever hear of magic?
Yeah, I think you did that little thing with the cigarette ash on my hand there the one time.
I'll bet your family's kind of like mine. My dad was a photographer, and there's very few pictures of my dad because he was always the one taking pictures.
Yeah, I had fun with your dad.
You what?
I say he and I had fun.
Yeah. No, I remember you from way back. Like, I feel like I've known you literally all my life. That's for
I used to
sure.
get down and develop film down there.
Yeah.
And Agnes Spence, remember her?
Yes.
I had a big picture of her. I don't know where that went. I gave it to somebody.
Okay.
Marie Temple, I gave it to.
What's that?
I'll tell a little story. I don't know the fellow's name in the back. You're talking about the hockey team, but we were showing
oh, Chuck, we were showing the totem pole, but I remember Avery, the Legion guys, and that was Dickie Moore and Kellis. Anyway, they were at a party, wasn't it? You're at a pool party or something, they're all drinking, and they came over, they were climbing the damn pole. we wouldn't open the door, and they start climbing the pole to knock on the bedroom window.
Yeah, guys will be guys, right? Okay, anybody else? No? Okay, well, I would like to thank again you and Lori
Well,
for putting up with me.
Well, I just want to tell you, my son and daughter are here, the other
Yes.
one couldn't make it, but
Yes?
Julie and
Yes?
hers get a haircut like mine.
Yes, I've seen that. Okay, well, we don't have a lot of time left, but if you want to speak with Avery, we can, got about
Any
10
questions?
minutes.
What to do and what not to do?